my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, I'm Vanessa Samina and welcome to the fam. You guys already guessed it, today's video is the singles prediction for September of 2019. So if you have not seen the general prediction and you're interested in it, I will leave it linked down below. But as you guys know, I always add a singles prediction to my monthly predictions because I want to keep all my little single unicorns covered. So in today's singles prediction for September of 2019, I have prepared 4 groups for you to choose from, and I would like you to pick one of these 4 groups intuitively. So the 4 groups are as follows. We have the Libyan gold Tektite, we have the copper, we have the blue calcite, as well as the black tourmaline. So if you feel like you need a minute just to meditate on the groups in order to make the right choice for you, then feel free to hit the pause button on the video right now in order to do so. And you guys, I've gotten so much feedback on how much my blog post has helped on how to pick the right card each time. So I will link that down below, as well as a short guide on how to cleanse your crystals. So you guys, I like to make everything easy peasy. I want you guys to have as much information and value accessible just one click away. So make sure that you make use of all of it. So yeah, you guys, before I get into the readings, I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for tuning into this video. And I just wanted to tell you how much I love you guys and how much all of the support and positivity that you brought to my channel and my life means to me. So thank you guys all so much for being here. I hope that I can reciprocate through my readings and through the enthusiasm and motivation that I try to bring to you guys to make sure that we can all build our dream life, and so that we can all accomplish the goals and desires that we have for our lives and leave things such as self-doubt and fear behind. So yeah, that is it for the intro. I want to get straight into the readings, and I'm going to start off with the first group, which corresponds to the Libyan gold Tektite. Hello group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you ended up choosing the Libyan gold Tektite. So group number 1, I want to speak to you about why you may have chosen this stone, aside from the fact that you may have just loved how beautiful this stone is. So this stone is for anybody who is sort of dealing with trying to keep negativity at bay, with trying to keep anything that isn't rays of light and warmth away from them. So maybe love has been a little bit of a draining experience for you, and maybe you just need this gorgeous energy guard to keep negativity at arm's length. And another thing that this stone is good for is for forgiveness when it comes to past life karma. But let's move further into a reading to figure out exactly what's going on in your life, in your love life, in September of 2019. Okay, so group number 1, in your reading, we have the Council of Light, we have Dreams, we have the Libyan gold Tektite, we have Competition, we have Trust Your Path, we have the 8 of Wands, we have Break the Chain, the 5 of Wands, as well as the 7 of Cups. So group number 1, let's get straight into your reading about your love life in September of 2019. So one thing that I see that is really essential for you to know is that you're not in competition, okay? So group number 1, in the 5 of Wands, we have sort of like, can you see the struggle? Can you see how things are just kind of like in a situation where there's pressure, where there's resistance, where things are not moving forward, where things are just knotted up? So one thing that I feel like may be stopping you from creating the love life of your dreams, or from truly getting to the love life of your dreams, is just feeling like there's competition there, feeling like you're competing with other people, like there are people who are maybe smarter or prettier or more educated, you know, just kind of like this feeling of maybe not being as confident and having as much self-value as you could. And that is one thing that I see here in competition, is that you have to summon, you know, self-courage, self-belief. And that is what I want you to do in September of 2019. I want you to not allow yourself to think anything but positive and courageous, amazing thoughts about yourself. So with courageous thoughts, I mean like, yes, I'm gonna go out on a date, I'm gonna put myself out there, and I'm not gonna think about the other women or men or people in this world who I would see maybe as more perfect or more ideal. And I want you to keep in mind that it is so tempting, you know, as I see in the 7 of Cups, to sort of go down that deep, dark road where you're, for instance, on Instagram, on some sort of social media platform, or just looking through a glossy magazine and you see perfect bodies, perfect skin, just perfect lives. Know that that is just a caption of one moment that oftentimes takes a long time to prepare, just to sort of display that one perfect moment. And that is something that I know a little something of. I've been in the modeling industry, and it's not all that it seems. And I want you to remember that, group number one. I want you to hear it from somebody who has actually been there, where creating this one perfect picture takes a long time to prepare, and it gives this illusion as if something or somebody is perfect or as close to perfection as possible, and it can be damaging for everybody who doesn't know how much work goes into it, and also how much editing and photoshopping can go into these situations. So don't make yourself feel bad for a situation that isn't even real and that has been fabricated. Don't make yourself feel like you're not the best possible lover or boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever you would like to see yourself as in the future. Don't allow that dream to be shattered. One thing that I see in dreams is that you must believe in your dreams, because if you don't truly believe that you are worthy, then obviously that is going to radiate through your entire being, and it's going to attract the wrong kind of people. So you are, to a certain degree, protected. That is what I see in the Council of Light. But at the same time, if you want to allow divine orchestration to be done by the universe, and if you want to allow things to happen for you, you need to still give yourself, the benefit of the doubt. You need to still allow yourself to be able to receive goodness, and you still need to allow the universe to divinely interfere in your life to make your love life, as best possible suited to your needs. But if there's always this sort of like friction there, like we spoke about in the Five of Wands, then it's going to be difficult to get anywhere. So know that you have to trust your path. One thing that I see in trust your path, group number one, is that you have to think to yourself, so, what would I do if I knew it would work out? What would I do if I knew that life would just support me? Would you go on a dating app? Would you go out by yourself to a bar, or maybe, just to a place during the day, shopping, for instance? If you knew that the universe would only send love and goodness your way, what would you do? So if you feel like you would put yourself out there a lot more, then this is clearly the universe trying to communicate to you. Forget about competition, forget about comparing yourself. Comparing yourself is basically just temptation that can turn toxic, and that is not something that you need in your life. So leave that behind, leave that in the past, and do whatever you would do if you knew it would work out. If that means putting yourself out there more, then put yourself out there more. If that means, dressing in a way where you feel more sexy, where you feel more attractive, then do it. But at the end of the day, confidence for some people, it comes through looks. For instance, if somebody loses weight or gets a new haircut or has nice makeup, that is what makes them feel confident. And for other people, that is something emotional. That is something that they can build through just knowledge and wisdom. So whichever way it is for you, make sure that you focus on that. And I want you to break the chain. I want you to rewrite the future. What happened in the past, or the self-worth that you placed on yourself prior to this point, prior to September of 2019, has nothing to do with you moving forward. It has nothing to do with your love life in the future. I mean, it can have something to do with it, but it doesn't need to. And it is so essential for you to know that you create your future, you write your future, and you don't need to have your future be anything but the creative burst of amazingness that I see here in the Eight of Wands. So in the Eight of Wands, I definitely see that you still know that there's a lot of potential slumbering within you, your life, as well as your love life. So don't give up on that. That is one thing that I see as so essential for you, group number two, for you to hear that you're only in competition with yourself, not with anybody else, and especially not with an image that has been fabricated by, Photoshop, that has been fabricated by a company or an organization that is trying to display a perfect moment. Never, never, ever allow yourself to feel lesser than because of what the media is trying to display. And remember to focus on your dreams, as well as being able to open yourself up to new possibilities, as well as getting rid of any sort of feelings of being incomplete or having any friction in your love life. So group number 1, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello group number 2, and welcome to your reading. So group number 2, you chose the copper. So first and foremost, I'd like to speak to you about why you may have chosen this stone. So the copper helps to improve circulation as well as lessen anxiety. If you need an increase in energy, that is another thing that the copper is said to be good for. But let's move further into your reading to figure out exactly what is happening in your love life in September of 2019. Okay, so group number 2, in your reading, we have the Soul Family, we have You're Already Doing It, we have the Inner Temple, the Battle of the Blues, Letting Go, the Star, the Two of Cups, as well as the Magician. So group number 2, first and foremost, I want to talk to you about the potential for love in September of 2019. So in the Two of Cups, that is something that I see. I see that there is potential to form a new bond, also romantically, that may potentially be a long-lasting one. But what I definitely see is that either way, there's going to be hope. There's going to be renewed hope. That is something that I see in the star. And in correlation with the Two of Cups, it could be somebody who you can feel a romantic connection with, but it could also be a new friendship. It could be a new friendship that gives you hope, that lets you know, like, hey, I'm somebody who can get along with anybody. I'm somebody who can make new friends and who can overcome situations of the past in order to attract love and be lovable. And that is one thing that I see that you have to work on, and the Magician may come in handy for you, group number 2. You have to work on your lovability, so to say. So know that you are lovable, but you make yourself lovable. So you can either make yourself in a way where it's hard to love you, or you can make it as easy as possible. So obviously, I don't want you to change who you are at the core of your being, but what you can do is let go of any sort of negativity. What you can do is take steps towards positive change, and that is what I see in the Battle of the Blues. Because if we already feel a little less lovable, if we already go into situations feeling like, oh, people are probably thinking lesser of me, or people probably don't have a great impression of me, all of that shows in how you carry yourself, how you speak, the way you present yourself to new people. So present yourself as somebody who is worthy of love. Present yourself as somebody who deserves true love. And as I said, you may have to tap into the Magician's box for that. So you may have to have a little something that you change in the earthly realms. For instance, your routine of how you get dressed, how you do your makeup, your hair, whatever it is that you do. Incorporate a step that makes you feel better about yourself. Then in your communication, how do you feel confident? How can you communicate with people in a way that makes you feel like, yes, I'm the smart one here. I'm the one who knows what they're talking about. So seek out knowledge if that is something that you know will help you. Looking further into your Magician's box, how can you emotionally be more stable and be more lovable? Are there mantras that you can say to yourself to make yourself feel better? Or is there something that can make you feel more secure emotionally? And last but not least, I want you to also get creative. Think to yourself, what can I do in the creative realms, in the realms where I'm passionate, that can make me feel lovable and confident? So if you know that you feel the most confident when you're singing, or when you're dancing, or when you're engaging in some sort of sports, or when you're just able to voice your opinion and go, for instance, to some cool convention, to some cool get-together. Put yourself in those situations in order to build your lovability, and in order to allow yourself to slowly cultivate the habit of allowing yourself to know, I'm lovable and I deserve nothing but the love of my dreams. In the Soul Family, I want you to not hesitate about consulting more people. I want you to not hesitate to talk to a good friend, maybe a relative, anybody who you know will understand your struggles and who will help uplift you. But make sure that it's somebody who will definitely help uplift you, and not somebody who may, instill even more doubt in you, because we all have that friend or that relative, that person that we speak to, and we sort of feel worse when we're done talking to them. Like, you know who I'm talking about? Like, I'm not trying to call anybody out, but some relationships can be like that. And I don't want you to share this situation in September with that person. I don't want you to share your road to becoming more lovable with somebody who might make you feel more insecure rather than confident, because we want to make sure that you build your lovability on a very strong and solid foundation, and that is only possible when you believe in yourself and when you extract doubt from the equation. So in the inner temple, I want you to devote yourself to love. I want you to tune into the portal of your heart and think to yourself, what do I really want? Because sometimes we're so caught up in what we think we should want that we kind of forget what we truly want. So what is that fantasy that you've always dreamt of in your love life? Is it, you know, the knight on the white horse in the carriage, or however that story goes? Or is it, you know, a guy in a smart business suit? Is it a Christian Grey type guy? So obviously these are just like examples that I thought about at the top of my head. I know it says more about me than it says about you, but like I said, there can be so many different things that you're attracted to that you maybe did not allow yourself to consider or feel attracted to because it is a taboo in your society to be, for instance, with somebody who is younger than you, or somebody who is less educated, or somebody who is of a different race or belief system than yourself. So that is what I'm referring to. Allow yourself to open your heart to endless possibilities, because the only thing that is real is true love. Everything else is just fabricated stuff by society and humans, and stuff that we, you know, brought along from the past that shouldn't affect your life, okay? And I want you to focus on the now. I want you to focus on what is going on in your life and what your heart really reacts to. So if you feel like, I'm thinking of this kind of person and my heart skips a beat, then allow yourself to explore that. Do not set limitations on love. Then, and you're already doing it, group number 2, for September of 2019, I don't want you to worry too much. I want you to know that you may have been overthinking way too much in love. It's time for you to just start facing your true north and stop looking left, stop looking right, stop trying to think to yourself, what can I do to improve? Where can I meet Mr. or Miss Right? What can I do to make myself more lovable? I mean, of course, we need to work on the lovability, but don't overthink it too much. Allow it to be something that you learn in a fun way, that you improve in a way where you're not putting too much pressure on yourself. Because overall, the vibe that I get for you, group number 2, is that, you know, there is a chance for a new bond and a new connection in the romantic realms, but don't overthink it. Because when you start to overthink it, you start to put unnecessary pressure on things, unnecessary friction, and that often leads to outcomes that we do not desire. So just let things happen, let things flow, and let go of that thought of maybe being undesirable or not as lovable or not being able to attract your twin flame, because you're worthy, you're beautiful, and that situation that comes up in September that sparks hope for your love life, hang on to that and, you know, take all of the motivation, hope, and also encouragement that you can get out of that situation in order to allow you to build that lovability, but also just let things happen and not overthink what you're doing when it comes to love and attracting love. So group number 2, that is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the blue calcite. So group number 3, I want to first and foremost speak to you about why you may have chosen this stone, aside from the fact that maybe you just loved its appearance, or maybe you have had an experience with a blue calcite in the past. So the blue calcite is said to help lessen stress and anxiety and just sort of relax you. So a lot of these blue stones are meant to just bring you down a notch from any sort of temper tantrums, from any situation where you feel like emotions are heightened and getting out of control. Another thing that the blue calcite is said to do is to heighten your intuition as well as your inner sight. But let's move further into your reading to figure out exactly what's going on in your love life in September of 2019. Okay, so group number 3, in your reading we have the 3 of Swords, we have the Knight of Cups, We have the Nine of Swords, we have Animal Bond, we have the blue Calcite, as already mentioned. Then we have Intuition, Unbound, Answering the Call, as well as Don't Dim to Fit In. So group number 3, I want to get straight into reading about your love in September of 2019. First and foremost, group number 3, one thing that I want you to focus on is to trust your intuition when it comes to love. So if you're, for instance, considering going out with somebody or considering somebody as a potential lover, then trust your intuition, trust your gut feeling, because people sort of show who they are, but we need to trust our instincts on those sort of signs, if you know what I mean. So for instance, somebody that you're interested in never has time on a Friday or Saturday night, or never replies, you never picks up the phone, and you feel like maybe there is something there with somebody else, I want you to trust your intuition, because we can often feel when something is going on. We can often feel when something is not right. So obviously that is just an example. Things may be completely different for you. You may, for instance, feel like somebody is just not ready. So somebody is devoted to you, but they're not ready for a real relationship. That could also be the case. Once again, follow your intuition and tune into the portal that is your third eye. So allow that to be what you use to sort of navigate through love in September of 2019. And if there is nobody there who you feel like is a potential romantic interest, I want you to not be heartbroken. That is one thing that I see in the Three of Swords. There is a potential to be heartbroken. There is a potential for fear of loneliness, and also just kind of being up at night thinking to yourself, am I ever going to be in the relationship of my dreams? Am I ever going to have the love life of my dreams? And that is one thing that I see, especially in the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is a card that can indicate nightmares and fears. But the thing about the Nine of Swords is that these fears and nightmares are that. They are fears and nightmares. They have not turned into real life. They're still in your head. There's still something that is not reality, and you need to remember that. You need to not allow it to affect you in a way where the fear is keeping you up at night, where it's having an effect on you physically and your health, because your health is your wealth. And if you're not physically as well as mentally healthy, it can be really hard to establish new bonds, and it can be really difficult to attract somebody who would be a healthy partner for you, because a lot of people unfortunately do prey on vulnerable human beings. And if you are in a vulnerable position right now, or you feel like maybe you are a little vulnerable, then please follow your intuition and don't just allow anybody near your heart, or just allow anybody to have the benefit to be in your life. They need to earn it. They need to show that they're trustworthy. And in the Knight of Cups, I see that they have to make you feel safe. And group number 3, I don't want you to skip out on this, and I don't want you to think that this is silly, okay? One thing that I see is that you want to feel safe, and that is something that you deserve. And I don't want you to ever think to yourself, oh, you know what, maybe I'm being too sensitive, maybe I want too much out of love, because that is when you fall into a situation where you start a relationship or just some sort of bond with somebody who you're maybe not meant to be with, because they're not on that level that you deserve. They're not where they need to be in order for you to be happy. So that does not mean that one person is better than another person. What it means is that one person is better for you romantically than they are for somebody else. So the person that would suit me might not fulfill your needs, and vice versa. And I want you to never ever think to yourself that your needs are not important. They are the number one thing in love. The number one thing is for you to feel like your needs are being fulfilled. So never tell yourself that, oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, maybe I'm just too high maintenance. You're not. Your needs are very important. So moving further into your reading, group number 3, what I see in September, I see this energy flowing through you that maybe you haven't felt in a long time. I see like releasing these old patterns, and it may have to do with you coming to the realization that all your needs and wants are valid, and you're like, you know what, I'm done trying to please other people. I'm done trying to make things work with people where I can already feel like it's not meant to be, and I need to now focus on myself. And that is when you usually attract the right one for you. So know that this feeling of unbound energy, this feeling of energy to just flows through you and allows your love life to be this new sort of fertile ground that you may not have had before. So think to yourself and your love life as a situation that prior to September may have been like infertile soil. It may have been soil that was missing some sort of nutrient. And this is the nutrient that you needed. You needed to let go of, you know, this expectation. You had to let go of trying to confide yourself to just a certain standard that you know is not what you truly desire. So in answering the call, I want you to listen to your soul and what your soul is calling you to do. If you feel like your soul is calling you to give somebody a chance that you maybe feel deserves more of a chance, then do so. But if you also feel like you have to answer this call to, for instance, try a new dating app or go on a date with somebody that you usually wouldn't go on a date with, then allow yourself to do so, and never ever dim to fit in. So if you feel like this call, like for instance, that you have to unleash your wild side, that you have to show somebody who you are undisguised and in a way that you are to the people who are closest to you, then do so, because it's essential for you to do it very early on when you meet people, because the longer you wait, the more you're sort of in this facade, the more you're playing this person that you're not, and the harder it'll be to actually navigate back into who you are. So never ever dim your light to make yourself more appealing or to make yourself more likable, or, you know, to sort of appease somebody, because that can be a really dangerous thing. Oftentimes people actually like the authentic version a million times better than the, you know, more prim and proper version. And it's so essential for you to embrace that and to learn that now, because if you don't, you may be missing out on opportunities as well as bonds that you naturally have with people, just because you're sort of like a little bit afraid to show your quirky side. And that could be something as little as, I mean, who hasn't gone on a date and ordered something like a salad because you don't want to be the person who you are, which is the person who can eat like a pizza, a bag of chips, and, you know, a bowl of ice cream. I've done it before. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has. So allow yourself to just be yourself. And an animal bond, I want you to take that sort of attitude from animals. So what I mean with take that attitude from animals, you know, an animal will instinctually do what an animal just does. You know, an animal feels free to eat however it feels like eating. It relieves itself in front of people and other animals, and it's not shy to do what it needs to do. So obviously I'm not saying, you know, relieve yourself in front of a date in September, but just be yourself. Take a little bit more of that instinctual, animalistic vibe with you. Be a little bit more wild than you usually would be when meeting new people, and allow that energy into your love life, as I see that that will lessen, you know, fear, anxiety, and just this feeling of maybe not feeling like quite enough. And once you let go of those sort of energies and vibrations is when love is able to enter your life a lot easier, and when you can meet more people who are potential soulmates as well as twin flames. So group number 3, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the black tourmaline. So group number 4, first and foremost, I want to speak to you about why you may have chosen the black tourmaline, aside from the fact that maybe you're an all black everything kind of person, or maybe you've had an experience with a black tourmaline in the past. So the black tourmaline is a very strong stone that protects you from electromagnetic fields that could be harmful. So if you feel like that is something that you surround yourself with a lot, think of maybe getting yourself a black tourmaline. And another thing that this stone helps with is headaches as well as chronic migraines. So its energy is said to clear that sort of negativity and allow yourself to feel protected and grounded. So group number 4, let's move further into your reading to figure out exactly what's happening in your love life in September of 2019. So group number 4, in your reading we have the 2 of Pentacles, we have Justice, We have the Queen of Pentacles, we have potential, we have good fortune, take a break, get grounded, as well as the Pillar of Light. So I'm going to move straight into your reading. So one thing that I see for September of 2019 in your love life is good fortune as well as potential. So obviously that is amazing news, group number 4. I want you to know that there is good fortune awaiting for you in September of 2019 for your love life. So be it for a new sort of connection, be it just for an amplified situation that may have been a little more dimmed if it wasn't for this good fortune and the good vibes that are entering your love realms in September. So think big, you know, there's a lot of potential for your love life, and I don't want you to dim the light by sort of thinking too small. So what do I mean by that? With think big, I want you to think about the most amazing situation that could occur in your love life, and don't think to yourself that it's silly. I mean, often we're like, well, you know, this is never gonna happen because it's silly. Actually, it does happen. You know, a lot of us just never expect that it will, but never lose that glimmer of hope. Never lose that belief that you're worthy for your love life to turn out exactly how you want, and for the dreams that you have for your love life to actually turn into a reality. So allow yourself to believe in all of the goodness that is here, especially in September. Don't put a damper on your situation by just making your potential smaller than it is. And moving further into your reading, I definitely see a little bit of a situation where you may feel overworked, where you may kind of get tired, where you may feel kind of like sore, literally. So maybe you're working out, maybe you're at your job, maybe you're running errands, and you're just doing a whole lot of things that require energy, that require you being present, and it's sort of making you a little busier than you would like to be. But I want you to take control of your schedule. I want you to make sure that you're making enough time for potential love, as well as going on dates and meeting new people. Because when you fill up your schedule to the point where the only spare time that you have is either spent with your family or by yourself, it can be hard to actually acquire any sort of new situations in love just because you're sabotaging it yourself, because you're not even leaving any time or any possibility for new love to enter. So give yourself that benefit of the doubt, so to say. Give yourself the possibility, as I can see in justice, that maybe you're being a little unrealistic. Maybe you're not giving your love life enough possibility and enough space. So I want you to balance it out. I want you to balance out your work as well as your personal life, the time that you spend by yourself, and the time that you invest in love. So investing time in love is not just going on dates or talking to potential lovers. It's also taking care of yourself. And one thing that I see in the Queen of Pentacles is that it would be great for you in September to allow a loving approach to things in the earthly realms, like your health especially. That is how you make time for love, by taking care of yourself as well. Because as you know, the quote goes, the famous quote, if you can't love yourself, nobody else will. And that is something that I see in the Queen of Pentacles. You have to love yourself, the life that you have on this earth, you know, your friends, your family, also your education, your job, whatever it is that is at the center of your life. I want you to love it, to cherish it, and to know that yes, you may be tired because you're multitasking, because there's a lot going on, because you're trying to juggle a lot of things, but be grateful for the growing pains. Be grateful for, you know, the soreness that you have at the end of the day, because you know, like, you got a good workout in, you got a lot of work done, and you're able to say to yourself, yes, I'm proud. Moving further into your reading, in Take a Break, I definitely want you to keep in mind that obviously working hard can be an amazing feeling. It can be a very satisfactory feeling, but you also need to make time for breaks just to ensure that you have the energy and you have the headspace to start new situations. And that has everything to do with love. So if you feel like you've been going on way too many dates, or, you know, just seeing way too many people, maybe even giving way too many people your precious time, take a break. I find that so important for you to know, especially in September. Take a little bit of time, you know, also for yourself. Take a little bit of time to connect to your senses sensitive side, as I can see, and get grounded, that you're naturally an empath, and sometimes you need to take time to rebalance your chakras and ground your energy, or else you become very irritable, and that is why the black tourmaline probably showed up. Or else you're somebody who's prone to headaches, maybe migraines, and you need to keep in mind that it's a life's work, not a season. So don't run as if you're just running for a season. Keep in mind that if you use all of your energy up in life as well as love in this season, then what will you have for the rest of your life, you know? So don't burn yourself out. Make time for everything, balance everything, but ensure that there is enough time for each and every single task. Make sure that there is enough time for love in your life before you start thinking to yourself that, oh, you know, maybe the love life of my dreams is not possible. Ask yourself, am I even making enough room, space, time for it? Or am I sort of just trying to squeeze it into a little nook and niche that I've created? Then last but not least, in the pillar of light, what I see for you in September of 2019, group number 4, is that your vibration is rising, and I want you to think of yourself as a pillar of light. Don't let any situation that has to do with love dim your light. So obviously love can be a frustrating subject. It can be a subject where you get hurt, where you feel unwanted, unlovable, and I want you to just remain a pillar of light for yourself, because that is one thing that I see that you need, group number 4. I see that you need your vibrations to rise. I see that you're somebody who thrives off of that. You're not only an empath, but you're probably also a light worker that needs this sort of ray of sunshine, this sort of halo around them to feel 100, to feel themselves. So never let any situation here make you feel like your love life doesn't have potential. I see that for September, yes, it may be a little draining. You may have a lot on your plate, but through working on taking care of yourself, as well as making sure that you get grounded, get into the nature, you know, make sure that that naturally empathetic side of you is fed and is taken care of. That is how I see that your love life will be able to embrace all the good fortune that is here in September, as well as the potential, you know, that part where you have to think big for your love life. So group number 4, that is how you can get yourself as close to all this goodness as possible. That is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you found it helpful and insightful, and I will see you in my next reading.